Caspersight. I'm going to leave a link to the whole video so you can watch it. And I'm halfway in here. Now, earlier on I was talking about real paranormal and fake and all that kind of thing, right? And earlier today I was saying that the people that fake get all the views. The people that are honest don't get the recognition that they really deserve. And Caspersight mentions the debunking community, where the debunking community have promoted channels that they deem, you know, are legit and stuff. Yet those channels don't get the views that Sam and Kobe and these other people get, because they're not doing scary content. They're out to be honest, to get nothing sort of thing. Now, I asked this question before. I never seen somebody else ask it, but Caspersight asked this question for those who are honest about the paranormal, really want to find answers. And I touched on this earlier today. It's in regard to people going down a certain route of paranormal investigating because everybody else is doing it. I hope the audio is okay. Right. Say your piece, sir.
I'm not saying I'm Steven Spielberg or anything like this, but I want to ask you a question, right? And this might help you going forward.
Absolutely. I already know what the question is, because it stuck in my head when he came out with this video.
If Most Haunted, the British television programme,
yes,
didn't exist, what would your paranormal videos be like?
I've got an answer to that. And I'm not being funny here, right? It's called ghost hunting, right? Now, just remember what he says, right? No paranormal TV show ever existed, right? There's no flashy balls, there's no cat balls, there's no REM pods, there's none of that stuff, right? What way would you approach the paranormal as far as ghost hunting is concerned? Well, it's in the name, actually. It's hunting. You would go searching for ghosts like you were hunting for rabbits or wildlife. Am I on the right track? Because that's what I've actually been doing. And guess what? Nobody gives a shit. I go out to forests, bring my dog. Maybe I don't make myself make it fully intentional that I'm out looking for paranormal activity while I'm walking my dog. Maybe I don't do that. Maybe I'm not calling out to spirits and stuff like that, because at this, you know, I've been doing it for years, since 2017, and I'm finding it a bit cringe, if you know what I'm saying. But the intention is there while I'm walking my dog. So I'm bringing my night vision camera and a big spotlight and my dog, and I'm looking for paranormal activity. And nobody finds it interesting, actually. But that's what I actually, it reminded me, I've already been doing it, but you reminded me again, what would you do if there was no TV shows? There was no, you hadn't a pre idea of what ghost hunting is. What way would you approach it? That's a very interesting question, and that's the question I asked myself a long time ago, and my answer to that was quite like if you're trying to observe for wildlife stuff. You know, go out looking for deers. You know, a lot of my stuff is outdoors. A lot of my investigations and explores is outdoors now, because I'm running out of abandoned buildings, if you know what I'm saying.
If you had zero influence on any other paranormal channels, what would yours be like? You have to ask yourself that question.
Here's the thing. I've already given you a solution, right? Ghost hunting. Get night vision scopes, get long range visual equipment, sit quietly in the bushes, that kind of thing. The only thing is, YouTube is you know, YouTube is going for what people want, and what the paranormal is on YouTube is horror content, jump scares and scary dark investigations, people screaming and running out of buildings. That's what people want to watch. People don't have a perception, people don't have a perception of real paranormal, because there's so much crap out there. So automatically, when they click on a paranormal video, they're expecting the flashy lights and people going crazy over those and making wild claims. That's what most of the paranormal is, and that's what they're expecting. If you go outside the box like you should, and you're absolutely flipping right, what would you do if there was no paranormal show? What way would you approach the paranormal? People at this particular stage won't understand that, because I've tried that shit and it doesn't work. You know, but he's got a very good point. And I actually, you know, I will continue on doing what I'm doing, not for YouTube's sake, but for my own. Approaching the paranormal in a more clinical kind of way, if you know what I mean. Because at the end of the day, the most important piece of equipment that's actually worked is your camera. A lot of these other things just add more questions than give any sort of answers, you know. So I travel light. I travel with a camera, night vision camera, and a big spotlight, and my dog. And nobody gets it. Nobody understands what I'm doing, because it's a different approach. It's too different to the norm. People have been used to the flashy balls and the REM pods and stuff, you know, walking around a forest that's supposedly haunted, and then gathering around and putting equipment in one little spot because there's a place to sit.
Because I think that so many people, including myself, right? I've done paranormal videos myself. I've obviously put my own spin on them and stuff, but I probably never at that moment in time thought to myself, if those other channels didn't exist and do it like strategically like this, actually, it's like almost like a blueprint, bang. Like it's just stamp, repeat, copy, paste, go. These channels popping up. Like,
yeah, like everything is the same. Everybody's Will you cut it out, please? Hey! The dog's outside scraping on its kennel. I've lost my train of thought now. Shit. Yes, everything is the same. But that's what people are expecting now. If you go off what the normal run of the mill is, what the way ghost hunting was crafted into be by TV shows, if you go outside of that, people are going to say that they're either inexperienced and don't know what they're doing, or they're just boring. Do you know where I'm coming from? Because there's a set way of doing paranormal investigations on YouTube. That's, approaching things, calling out for names, using dodgy equipment, etc. But that's what people want, unfortunately. You approach it in the way that I approach it, as in hunting, long range night vision scopes and observation, and approaching it in the way of wildlife observation, because there's animals in this country that I haven't seen. If I see a deer in the wild, I know I'm on the right track, because I haven't seen a deer in the wild before. Do you know where I'm coming from? But going outside the norm in YouTube terms, it's not going to get views. It's molded into what it is right now as basically horror content, and the people that are faking are doing it in an entertaining way, because at the end of the day, YouTube's an entertaining platform. Have you sat down and watched Ghost Adventures? I have, even though I know it sometimes drives me nuts, because I do paranormal investigations and I would approach things differently and I will question everything. So it's sort of, in one way it's entertaining, in other ways it drives me nuts, because I'm constantly pointing out what they should have done, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, so ask yourself, what would you do? Because that is, I think, the problem. Maybe, I'm not saying fake things. Please don't fake anything. Carry on what you're doing. But if you maybe try to think that each video is not a YouTube video. It's not.
That's the thing. A true investigator doesn't put as much emphasis on YouTube creating content. If your sole goal is to make YouTube creating content, you're not really a very good paranormal investigator. You should be putting more emphasis into analysing your data than making a video for YouTube. So very often some of these investigators, they just put out the raw footage, put out everything you got. Don't put it into a tight package of nicely edited stuff. And sometimes I say, right, say you're filming a paranormal investigation for a scientist. What does that scientist want? He wants all your data. He wants everything. No cutting out dead air or any of that shit. Just give them everything. But, as I says, YouTube's an entertaining platform. Who's going to watch that? As we know, a lot of people are watching the entertaining content, the stuff that is molded from the TV shows. They're replicating the TV shows. And if you're putting all that emphasis into replicating a TV show, you're not thinking outside the box. An investigator has to look at different ideas, think outside the box. And what Caspersight is saying is, why not try and approach this without the pollution of TV paranormal production? Approach the paranormal in a way that is different to all of that. Because if everybody's doing the same thing, we're going to miss out on another method of doing things that might be a better way, a cleaner way. Real investigating is not entertaining. I put out stuff over the years and it's just a raw filming of a couple of investigations and that. It's, but it's not, people want to see a TV show. They want you to produce a TV show. That's the problem. That's what YouTube wants. And unfortunately, people are copying that way because it's been successful on TV. But we may be seeing a turn where TV shows are starting to fall off the wagon a bit. So maybe there may be a turn in the way we think about the paranormal and the way we present it to the public. Because the public at the moment are moulded into a certain way of watching the paranormal. And that is the TV script, if you know what I mean.
Not this week we're going here, this week we're going there. Think of your video as a movie, right? And what do you feel and what do you see in movies? Like horror movies, the best, yes, horror movies are great with jump scares, right? Hollywood does it a lot. You want to make someone scared, I know what works, a jump scare. Bit of a tension of the violin going before, and then, no, it didn't happen. And then, it did, right? Sorry if that scared you.
But the thing is, the real paranormal, 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10 actually, there's no jump scares in the real paranormal. There's not much to be scared of, to be honest with you. It's not, I truly believe it's not as terrifying as it's made out to be. In fact, I don't believe a lot of the tales and legends that are being told. I don't believe, but that's just me. I can happily go into the middle of a graveyard in the middle of the night on my own and be as chilled as anything, because it's just to me it's a peaceful place. Do you know? There's some places I feel uncomfortable, but I don't get jump scared by any of it. What are people jump scaring from? In reality, if they're not just jump scaring for the audience to give them a bit of entertainment. That's all I see that is. Do you know, all of this and TV shows have moulded the paranormal into something that actually it's a false reality. The paranormal can be a positive thing, mostly positive thing. Of course, there's a possibility of negative effects and stuff like that. But we're investigating that. We still don't know what we're fucking investigating. That's the thing. People are jumping to conclusions that there's, in a lot of places at night time there's dark forces. Where's the evidence for that? Why are they going down that line? Because it goes along with horror content. because Zach Bacons gets possessed every time he does a TV show. That's what that is. And that's bullshit.
But the best horror films are the ones that build anticipation and fear without doing a single thing. And so maybe keep that in mind. Remember, what would you do if you were the first person to ever come up with the idea of a paranormal investigation?
I get your question. It's an absolutely brilliant question. But I'm disagreeing with you in the line of paranormal investigation is a negative, scary thing. Because it's not. You need to get that out of your head straight away, because that goes along with the ghost hunting shows. We need to put that in the bin as well. If we're going to put methods and the line of script of ghost hunting on TV in the bin, we need to get rid of the horror, scary part of that too, because that belongs in the bin too, because that came from TV shows and horror films, which aren't real.
Like, for me, I would try to make it, and almost like as a whole, that video in itself holds everything needed to accomplish a story. A beginning, a middle, and an end.
Exactly. But you know, that, the beginning, middle, and end, that goes with all content. You know, yes, we used to do investigations and we would put out 100% of the files. We wouldn't cut anything out, even though there was dead air and that. So the beginning is we introduce the audience to the location. If I have another investigator with me, or I'm in a group, I introduce the group. Today we're with this group, and you know, and give a bit of a story of what the place is. Then we do our investigation, and then at the end I give a brief description of how the night went and say goodbye and thanks for watching, and that's the end. The middle part is the meat and the potatoes, do you know? But I'm not trying to make a movie, because you're filming for 3 to 4 hours on a night, which isn't it's not a brilliant investigation. You need to be going back to the same place over and over again, which again is not entertaining for the ordinary viewer. They like to see you go to somewhere different next week. But the way I look at it is, if you go to a lake to fish and you catch fish, and next week you want to go fishing, and because last week you got loads of fish, you want to go back there. You wouldn't say, I went there last week and I just want to mix it up a bit and go somewhere else. You want to go to places where there's fish, so you want to keep going back there and have not just one night of 3 hours on a Saturday night as an investigation. You want to do it for 3-4 months on and off, and put it all together, and compare results and stuff like that. But that's investigating. It's not going to come out like a TV show. It's completely different. Not like a paranormal TV show, but the paranormal TV shows is completely ingrained in the paranormal now. That's where the problem is.
Right? I'm saying this because I want your videos to succeed. And I'm saying you don't need anything particular to happen, but try to think of some sort of storyline, maybe. Like, for example, it could be, this might, off the top of my head, you know what I mean? This might be some sort of generic thing. But maybe the video could be along the lines of, let's say you've got a location. You're going to go to this, I don't know, an abandoned hotel or whatever, right?
Right.
Here's your location. Don't start the video like every other people make the videos. Hi guys, today we're in the abandoned hotel. This was built in 1805.
That's what I do. What else am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to tell them the location. I'm open to suggestions because I can't remember this bit.
Apparently someone was hung in the beginning of the doorway. Let's go and investigate. And you go around, hi guys, hi ghosts, if there's anybody here, right? Fuck that blueprint.
Right.
Fuck it off.
Okay.
How about thinking to yourself, what would I do? What do I need to do to make this video in it like a movie? Okay?
But real investigators isn't interested in making a movie, but I'll listen to what you have to say here.
Record yourself at home, guys.
Right.
You're on the PC. You turn around. Hey, mate, have you seen this? Have you seen this location here? I think we should go. Like, I'm not saying act, but legit, have some sort of hidden camera movements, right? You know, found this location. We're going to go to this location.
Right. I get you now. Before you go to a place, you've got a thought process. Bring that thought process to the camera. I think I'm on the right track there. Because before you go, you intend to go. But it's in your head, you're not saying it out loud and that. But if you say it out loud to the camera, it's part of the story, if you know what I mean.
Oh, and apparently, look at this on the internet I found. Something blah, 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 blah. So you're having different location swaps. First of all, you've got the build-up, right? The beginning. Okay, we found a location. We wanna go there and explore and find out if paranormal exists.
But some people actually do this, though. That's the thing. And they still go to the location with their flashy balls. And they still go along the line of ghost hunting. My thought process was completely different. I was thinking of... Sorry I paused you in a very funny face. But I was thinking down the lines of... I never seen a TV show. What way do I approach the paranormal? Like wildlife observation. Scouting out. Being quiet. You know. That kind of thing. I didn't know you were going to go down this route.
That involved. What equipment are you going to need? Right, we're going to have this, we're going to do this equipment, we're going to do that equipment. Be open and honest. And then the travel to that location. Right?
Right. But the thing is, what kind of equipment are we talking about? Remember, you said in the beginning of this, we never seen a TV show. We don't know what a paranormal investigation is because we haven't seen a TV show. So apart from the camera, nothing else exists. Camera and lighting. What way are we going to? What way are we talking about when it comes to paranormal equipment? Are we talking about little trigger objects like years ago or whatever? Then again, we don't know if that is an effective way because we've never seen a TV show. That's where, you know what I mean?
This helps with the build-up, and this helps with just like getting there and getting the viewers being like, oh shit, they found a location there, go in there. Before you know it, guys, you're already 10 minutes into the video.
You don't want to spend too long introducing or you don't want to prolong getting into the investigation, because after 10 minutes, if you're not getting in there, people just are going to click off. You know what I mean? I've seen TV shows where The TV show was something like 20 minutes, or 25 minutes, or 25 minutes to half an hour, say. The introduction and the research into the history is about 15 minutes. It's half the flipping video. And I can't remember what TV show it was, but it was awful. There was only 10 or 15 minutes of an actual investigation, which, you know, by the time the history and all was done, I was kind of done with the video.
Right? 10, 15, whatever. Whatever pace you want to make it. Then you're there. Get the B-roll, the boom, the music, the dramatic music, the slow-mos of the buildings and things like that going on.
Yeah, I mean, like B-roll is sometimes, if you want to do a creative process, the B-roll, preferably during the day, can give the viewer the idea of what the place is about. I understand that. I think what you're thinking of, don't think the usual paranormal investigation on TV. Think of movies, how movies are made, how they construct a movie, and how the storyline goes. Now, you could be honest as the day is long, but still have a storyline. I understand where you're coming from.
Right? Then you can do like your found footage of, your camera facing at you and stuff like that. Do your section of exploring, and then obviously in the middle, I think you guys are good with cutting, finding the pace to add in B-roll when it gets a little bit quiet, or maybe changing rooms and things like that. I'm not trying to tell you the actual blueprint, but come the end, like, there needs to be some sort of a grand finale, an ending, or a completion. All right? Maybe it starts with something else, like another idea for another video that you mention at the end. I'm just saying, try to be unique, try to be different, and I think that your videos will go so much better. Stop with the blueprints. And I'm not having a go at you. Carry on doing it what you're doing. Like, if you're happy doing the, start the camera, hi guys, we're here, right? I'm just saying, go against the grain. Tell your viewers that this is a new style, you want to do it, you want to give it a whirl, whatever. But I'll be really interested to see what happens with your views if you knuckle that down a little bit and just carry on, even if it was the one video. And also for yourself.
All right, I was beginning to get lost here, and sort of be under the impression that you want us to throw away this ghost hunting script and create a different script. But I get where you're coming from, because at the end of the day, you're still putting out a video onto YouTube, and you still want to get views, and you have to present. I get that. Yeah.
Like, how about a little bit more of creativity? I've just given you the beginning. It's your job now to find what you need to do with the middle and the end. All right? I'm saying that as if you're going to go and do it. You might be thinking, who the fuck is Caspersight? Mr. Reactor sits there and just, right? I've done a bit of videography. I've done a bit of exploration. And I like movies. I like horror. I like the build-up. I'm just trying to compare your videos to why I watch the fake videos, the crazy videos, because it gives me that feeling inside. And that's what I'm searching for when I look at your videos. Now, I know it's a big jump, and I know it's something... I don't want you to upset your viewers, upset your subscribers, but I think the true hardcore fans will support you because they know that you're still not faking, right? But they'll see you trying to put some creativity into your videos, right? Trust me, I really think that you need to try something different than the blueprint. It works for the crazy people out there, and it works for like other channels that have already built momentum and stuff like that, and things happen and great, you know. But unfortunately, if your channel doesn't pick up on any like paranormal activity, the video becomes dead and a waste of time. People get frustrated, they're not going to watch again, or they get bored, or they might connect with you, which is great. They connect with you, you know, they invest in you as you are the investigator, not so much about the videos. They just want to support you, right? And I fucking love this is why I love YouTube community, right? Because when there's good people, there's real good people. Yeah.
There's something there I just wanted to say. Now, you're saying forget about, you know, throw away the script of the Paranormal TV. But I'm going to bring up a TV show that was very short-lived. It was actually canned very, very quickly because it was actually out of the norm. And that was Northern Ireland's Greatest Haunts, and it was Andy Matthews. And he travels to the location, and every time you get the B-roll of the car driving up the driveway, and as he's driving, he's telling us about this location and stuff like that. And then he meets the team. The team are excited. This is a great location. The team is given their point of view of this place, and he will tell some of the history. And then, you know, somewhere around that time, then he goes to the library to get some information and stuff like that. And there's no flashy balls or any of that crap, because it was an old TV show. You know, yes, there was, you know, the guys will set up their DVR cameras and roll out miles of wire, and while that's happening, Andy hops into the car and he's driving to the local library. Today we're going to Enniskillen Library to look up the more information or talk to so-and-so, or, you know, and get into the research bits and pieces, while the guys, and it clicks over to the guys setting up, and today we're going to be using this, and this camera's going to be in this room, and this room, and this room. And it was a different layout, and I thought it worked. I thought it completely worked, because it was different than the other shows.
Let me know what you think. And my subscribers, please pass this on to, like, you know, share it with debunkers and things and see what they say. I'm fully prepared for anybody to say, Ben, this is the worst fucking idea. You know? But it's just my bit of input. I want to see these smaller channels ramp it up a little bit. Because if they did as well, and maybe this is a selfish thing, I'm not doing it for selfish, I'm just as like an afterthought. Like my recording now, watching this particular channel that I was watching, I know for a fact that I would finish it and I'd be like, I'm fucking happy with that. Because I can feed off of the adrenaline, I can feed off the excitement, I can feed off of this story. But when it's just camera, face, me, that's not entertainment for me, right? It's just like, oh, come on, is anything going to happen? Yeah? And please, I beg you, please don't think of this as a dig, okay? Because it absolutely does cater to a large amount of people. But I just think that those people would be happy for you to create something unique. Remember.
I get that. I get that. And I am understanding, right, that, you know, we're doing a paranormal investigation and we're trying to do the honest thing we can. We're focusing on the investigation. But we're still going to put out a video onto YouTube. And it needs to be presented in a way, in a certain way. But I think at this stage a lot of people are bored with the same format of everybody copying everybody else. I get that. I understand that. And I understand that YouTube is a entertaining platform, and in order to fit in you have to entertain. I get that. But some people want all the footage. Some people want perfectly crafted videos. So it's very difficult to know exactly what to do, because if you put too much emphasis into editing, it can look a bit false. TV shows look false as it is. I know that. I don't think the average viewer sees it that way, though. That's the thing. Maybe I have to stop thinking of what I think and try and think what the viewers think, you know. But I think he's got some points there, you know. I just thought I would share it. I thought I'd wait a week before I'd react to this and give the guy a chance. But I'll leave a link to his channel and this video at the end of this, so it should be popping up now. Thanks very much, and I'll see you again very soon. Hopefully. Bye.